Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play the remake of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be continuing our playthrough of Persona 3 Reload, covering up until November 5th, I believe? 5th or 6th?
I don't know. 8th? I said 8th, and you changed it, so it's up to you to tell me.
Yeah, well, 6, 7, and 8, nothing happens. We are not doing the stuff that happens on November 9th. That's for sure. So,
okay.
Somewhere between the 5th and 5th and the 9th.
Okay.
So, before we get to all of that, how is y'all's week?
I have been working so much. I have been busy. I don't like it. I haven't even played Persona 3 Reload since we last talked about it 2 weeks ago. But if you'll remember, I did beat the entire game and start playing through it again. So technically I am on schedule. I just can't really remember it very well because it's been a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, work is a lot. And I have also had a very busy time, which is why I didn't record last week. So August 5th is Summer's birthday. And so the week before Summer's birthday, her best friend flew up from Texas and brought her son with her, which is awesome. He's a great kid, but he has real bad separation anxiety and kind of was, for lack of a better word, cock blocking the birthday shenanigans. So Summer's friend and Summer basically couldn't hang out because everything was about Oliver. So I stepped in and used my cool uncle powers to get him to be cool with the fact that his mom wasn't in the room. And doing that for a week is exhausting. So I was not able to really do much at all of anything after that. And then, so Summer's brother was also down visiting. So I had to take him halfway back to Chicago on Monday night and then take Michaela back to the airport in Milwaukee the next morning. And then when I got home, my partner Ivy was like, "Oh hey, I hadn't mentioned it because I knew you were having a big week, but I'm moving tomorrow and I don't have anybody to help me clean out my house. Can you come help me?" And I am, to my own detriment, a good person, so I went and helped Ivy clean up, and I was exhausted. So I started and completed Castlevania Aria of Sorrow for the Game Boy Advance instead of doing anything like I was supposed to last week because my brain was fried. But yeah, I'm alive now, and I played too much Star Ocean yesterday, and I should have played less Star Ocean so I could play more Persona 3.
And as we discussed last night when we recorded the new Star Ocean episode, Star Ocean isn't even that good, so I don't know why it's so hard for you to play absolute masterpiece Persona 3 Reload instead.
Yeah, you have to remember though, I'm a little freak and I'm a weirdo, and all of my favorite games.
What are you doing here?
All of my favorite games, like, you get the list and they're not even like C-list PlayStation 1 RPGs. They're like D-list at best. And
like the big name on your list of favorites is Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah.
That's the big popular one.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I am what I am, but yeah,
as someone who has rancid takes in other forms of media, I get you.
Yes. But Star Ocean 2 rules, actually, and it doesn't rule as a podcast game because the main plot doesn't really exist, but as a hang out with the characters game, it has some really good characters, and all of the hanging out parts are fun, and they did their best to try and save this battle system in the new version. So big recommend. And Bernard does not big recommend.
I do love a good hangout with the characters game. So on my end, I've been struggling with executive dysfunction really bad. I have stuff I'm supposed to do, some of it because I was literally paid to do it. When I say do it, I mean write things. But when you're paid to write something and the something is less narrative and more functional text, It's really hard to make your brain do it. And I say that, but also I'm supposed to write just for funsies. I'm writing for a zine collection thing that I'm really excited for. Uh, I say that, but I haven't written very much. I managed one day last week to write a huge chunk of stuff, but I still have like half my total word count left to do. So, I really gotta push my brain against it until the words come out. But I didn't work on any of that recently because last Friday, I went with my lovely wife. It was her grandmother, her nanny's 92nd birthday or 93rd. I might have I think it's 93rd. She's old, and it's my first time meeting her family. And we went and stayed at her parents' house for a couple days, and it was mostly a good on the scale of going to visit the person you're dating's family. I've had worse. I've had a lot worse. Had a lovely time. They were very nice, even if their parents are a little bit centrist and said some really classist shit. Uh, Lovely time. I got a bunch of time. I got to spend a bunch of time with my wife, and we got to listen to some Doctor Who audio in the car. Though I, in the process, learned car speakers are a really bad way to listen to an audio drama, actually. Those things are made to be listened with good audio equipment, and when there's the sound of the road and other like rain and stuff, it's really hard to hear what people are saying.
I disagree. I
Uh,
love listening to him in the car. I almost exclusively listen to him in the car, and I do not have a
I
problem with it. I think your car might
I
suck
think
worse than mine.
I think that's possible. I think the other problem is that my wife has a problem with loud noises, so she has to keep the volume kind of low, and that
That
is
makes
what
sense.
makes it hard. But yeah, it was a great time. We ate at a diner on the way back. Things are great, and I'm going on another trip in a little over a week. This time once again to our friends to the north. To spend time with my Canada wife. So yeah, things are except for all the executive dysfunction, things are baller.
Checking in on the Cosmere part of the episode. So, as of August 1st, if you wanted to reread all of Stormlight Archive before the next one came out, you needed to read 30 pages a day.
Uh-huh.
I am a overachiever, and I am now almost completely done with my reread of Way of Kings.
Really?
I've been
Oh my
doing
god.
the graphic audio, which
Yeah.
big recommend. It's I don't like their Dalinar. Their Dalinar is a little like not gruff enough.
Mm.
IMO. And despite Kaladin being 19, I still think that 65-year-old Michael Kramer's deep guttural voice for Kaladin is more accurate to the heavy-hearted weight of my poor little boy. Um,
Our poor little boy Kaladin.
my poor little boy Kaladin deserves the Batman voice of Michael Kramer. But
I don't know if I disagree. I don't know if I agree, but I think it's a hell valid.
I
yeah,
don't
I
know who Michael Kramer is. Sort of sounds like someone forgetting the name, what the name of Michael Richards is, and getting confused.
that's funny. But yeah, loving those. If you listener have been keeping up and you have never done a reread, Brandon Sanderson is really good at outlining things, and all of the stuff that you now know being 4 books in was there in book 1, and it
Yes.
just you don't know it's there, and it's fantastic to go back and do it.
I on my part am not doing that what you're doing, but I am doing a slow reread in that I'm still taking this wonderful sweetie who I've started dating recently, and I'm taking them by the hand through the series, and we're currently halfway through part 1 of the 4th book. So we should hopefully finish Rhythm of War before night or it's just Wind and Truth. Wind and
Wind and
Truth. I
Truth.
always want yeah, before that comes out. So hopefully that'll be the case. They've only barely met Raboniel. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce her name.
Uh,
Uh
Kate
but
says Rabonio.
Raboniel, okay. But already the temptation of a 7 foot tall mad scientist crab woman has them extremely interested, and that's the correct opinion to have.
Yes, absolutely. I forgot to mention it in my little thing, but I've been listening to those graphic audios on an iPod Classic.
Ooh.
Shout outs to dedicated audio players. It's real great to have monotaskers, actually. We
Agreed.
kind of were
agreed.
We're fed that there's an app for that for 2 decades now, almost. And no, don't use the apps. Use monotaskers.
I think being able to listen to audio on your phone is great, but also having a item that's dedicated to it that has physical buttons for it, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the one I was using for a while that I was really a fan of, because I agree on your point entirely, it broke sadly, so now I need a new one, and I'm like, if I get another one, I should also get like a classic iPod or something that isn't as cheap as what I got.
Yeah.
Similarly, on your thing about like getting unitasky stuff, I've been very much like sometimes I will be like, oh, I want to take a picture of this, but I hate opening up on my phone, getting out the camera app, getting it to work. I'm like, I just want a little camera. I just want like a little digital camera that I can take pictures with and not like futz with. So I want to get that at some point when I actually have money, which might be soon. I forgot to mention as my stuff of the week. I have a job interview tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah.
That, unlike several of my last job interviews, I think I'm much more hopeful on this. It's at a local hospital. It's a night job. It's a lot of good things.
Nice. I wish you the best.
Thank you. I need the money. I need it bad.
Yeah, feel that.
But you know what? The world needs, according to a character in what we played today. It's to fall, I guess? Question mark? Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, so let's find out what that means, maybe, after this quick musical interlude.
Sorry for the rancid segue there.
We don't have to do a segue every time.
We do, every single time. A few days after Shinji dies, Akihiko finds Ken in the station outskirts. If you remember, Ken had busted out of his window and ran away, and we were like, well, I mean, whatever. This 11-year-old can live on the streets. We don't give a shit.
Would have made more sense to cover this last week, this scene last week, I think, and that's why I told everyone, okay, we're going until this day, but then Sam apparently did not understand, or I was unclear or something, because we did not end up covering this scene last week, so...
Yeah, we didn't, but it works out because now all of the digivolving besides Akihiko's is this week, so it works.
Did you described it as him busting out of the window, and when you describe it that way, it sounds like he hulked out and smashed through the glass and escaped, and not like opened the window and just snuck out.
Yeah. So Ken is distraught because he went his whole life knowing that his mom was killed by a persona and not a, quote, car accident, but he couldn't say anything about it, and now Shinji died during the Dark Hour too, so they have to say random street violence, and he still can't say anything. And at the end of it all, he's still left behind and left alone. Aki reminds him that he still has his life, and only he can decide what to do with it, and Aki isn't there to take Ken home. He's just there to talk to Ken, and only Ken can decide if he wants to waste away in the alley or to stand up and fight and face the future.
Also, he's the only one who can prevent forest fires.
Yes. Akihiko leaves, and Ken monologues to himself about how he was just focused on hating Shinji, so he wouldn't have to be alone, but he ended up alone anyways. He promises Shinji that he'll see this through to the end, and his persona digivolves. A week before the full moon, oh shit, my notes didn't sync from my phone properly. So a little bit before the week before the full moon, Fuka is in class talking with Natsuko, and then the teacher's like, "Oh hey, Natsuko, didn't you have something to tell to the class?" And so Natsuko stands up and is like, "Hey everybody, I'm transferring, and Fuka, despite us being best friends now, I hadn't told you until just now. Sorry about that." And
Are
Fuka,
you just doing this from memory because your notes
yes,
didn't sync?
yes,
That would explain why you don't know Natsuki's name.
it's
Her
not
name is not Natsuko, it's Natsuki.
Natsuki. I was close. I got
She's
one
a Nazi
one
girl.
Close.
one letter off. It's because Natsuki is just no, never mind. Sorry. Natsuko is somebody.
I'm sure.
Now I'm
Somebody.
trying to remember where that name came from. But anyways,
I've googled Natsuko. I'm just getting, some anime characters, some human women.
yeah.
Um,
Anyways,
but one thing about Natsuki is that in Persona 3 Portable and Fest and Original, they always pronounce her name Natsuki.
oh, I
Like,
hate
they
it.
really hit the Su there, and I'm like, no.
No.
I don't know much, but I know not to do that.
Yeah. One of the first things you learn in Japanese is that Su's in the middle of your middle of a word, they don't exist.
I want to just say about this scene, I took let me count them. I took 8 screen caps of this scene because it was full of just like Natsuki and Fuka are dating.
Absolutely,
Okay,
100%.
they're clearly dating.
In the notes that didn't
really good, yeah.
In the notes that didn't sync, I know I ended it with Fuko realizes she's a lesbian and her persona digivolves.
Yes.
Sorry for bullying you so much this episode, Sam. I am frustrated from
As
work.
the kids
I'm
are,
taking
as the
it out on
kids
you.
put it, we're razzing him. Is that what it is?
I don't know if razzing is something you do. I don't know if that's something kids say in particular.
I don't know the slang these days. Also, I lied. Here's the second one.
Apparently, to razz someone comes from the 1920s. So, not what the kids say.
Not the kids today.
I'm sure the kids say that in addition to whatever else they say, but it's not.
Or wait, is it
not
rizzing,
new
not
kids
razzing? Is
playing.
rizzing what I'm thinking?
Riz is short for charisma.
Damn it, that's wrong. Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's the etymology.
I think you're probably right.
Riz is a slang term that is defined as style, charm, attractiveness, or the ability to attract a romantic or sexual partner. And I do believe it came from the word charisma.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's some word that I'm trying to think of that is a newish slang verb that you use when you're talking about fucking with someone and digging into them, and I don't remember what it is, and I'll probably remember 5 minutes after we finish recording.
My favorite term for doing that is to get someone's goat.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I remember I discovered a while ago, one of the servers I'm in, one of the Stormlight related servers, has someone there who's like 18, 19, just started college, which I'm just like, how am I interacting with a person this young? What's happening? But she was like, hey, all of you older people on the server, here's some young person slang. If something's really good, it eats. I'm like,
I'm
what?
familiar.
I've now heard this, and I was like, I've heard it here and there now, and I'm like, what?
I mean, I feel like I only hear it in the past tense, though, like that ate or you ate.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't hear someone say this eats. I feel like
you're right. It's mostly like that thing really ate.
Yeah, I'm back.
I didn't realize you were actually stepping away. I apologize for being mean to you while you were away.
Oh, it's fine.
But I don't think you heard.
Yeah, I don't care. Be mean to me. But where was I?
We were just talking about Natsuki and Fuka were in class, and it was just revealed that Natsuki is leaving and they're about to go to the roof and make out.
Yeah. So yeah, Natsuki tells the class that she's transferring, and she's like, "Bye, everybody. I'll miss you." Hadn't told Fuka yet, so Fuka goes with her up to the roof, and they share feelings and make out. Basically, I don't remember the specifics, but it's basically like, oh, Natsuki's like, blah blah, I'm a huge bitch, and Fuka's like, no, you're not, you're my girlfriend, and they're like, okay, cool, and then Fuka's persona digivolves.
And also, then after after Natsuki leaves, Fuka receives a text from her, and Fuka's like, "Oh, no matter how far apart, we'll still be together." I'm like, "Yeah, that's how cell phones work."
It's called a long distance relationship, girl.
Like this, you seem to have not understood that you can keep in touch with your very good friend.
Yeah,
even
especially
if you don't live in the same city.
Especially because the country you live in has really good public transit.
Right.
It's not even a big deal.
There's tons of high-speed rail.
Yeah. It's not even a big deal at all. So then, a week before the full moon, Pharaoh shows up like clockwork, and he tells us that time has really flown by, and this whole ordeal is almost over, and maybe he'll come see us when it's all over. So then on Halloween night, it's not relevant, it just happens to be when it happens, we see Strega looking out at Tartarus from across the bay. Takaya is like, the final full moon is coming up and we can't let them take our power. But Jin is like, actually, they can have my power. The thing that I don't want to happen is I don't want to forget that the Dark Hour exists, because you and Chidori are like my bestest friends and I'm fighting to be able to stay your friend. And Takaya is like, gay.
Takaya has really strong gay and homophobic vibes.
Yes. So then the night before
sex with Jin and then call him a slur afterwards.
Yeah. So then the night before the full moon, C's has a meeting in the lounge. They're all doing the end of game fake out thing where they're like, wow, it's been a long 6 months. We've all come so far. Thankfully, there's the power of friendship and everything is going to go smoothly tomorrow and nothing bad will happen whatsoever.
Definitely.
They talk about how it's been such a long year, but it was even longer for Akihiko. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, Aigis. It must have been even longer for you. And Aigis is like, it doesn't really count. I was turned off for most of it. I've basically only been alive for 4 months. And Mitsuru then drops, actually, I've had my persona ever since I was a little child, even before Aigis. She says that she was... I got the feeling, she said, always aware of the Dark Hour, but it could just be like since she was 9 or whatever the 10 years ago mark would be. She says ever since she was little. And it was when her dad was investigating Tartarus and he was attacked by some shadows. Mitsuru awakened her persona to save him and has been in the shadow killing game ever since. And as we learned a couple weeks ago, her dad and granddad then started doing tests on her to figure out how to make personas. So then, on the night of the full moon, Fuka finds the shadows at the end of the Moonlight Bridge, and she also senses that Strega, unsurprisingly, is there, since this is their last chance to stop us. We gather our harem together, and we head off to the bridge. Strega asks us once more to admit that we really all just want to keep the Dark Hour and the persona powers and be serial killers with them, and we tell them to fuck off, so we have a boss fight. We kick their asses eventually, and they're like, well, we should have known that we experiments weren't going to be a match for natural personas. They say that their personas were foisted upon them and that using them destroys their bodies. Jin is like, don't you know, if you destroy the Dark Hour, even personas like us will ... Takaya is like, enough. Well, see, since you kicked our ass, we would normally withdraw, but we can't really do that tonight. So instead, and he pulls out his very real gun that has killed people and holds it to his head. Jin stops him from pulling the trigger, is like, no, boyfriend, we're going to die in each other's arms instead, and embraces Takaya and jumps off the bridge.
And that's the last we ever saw of them.
What you just described makes more sense than what happens in the scene, if I'm gonna be honest, because the way he describes it's like, no, you're being so reckless, and he describes it like, don't you know that, like, I care about you? Anyway, we're gonna jump off this bridge now.
Yes.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah. No idea. But yeah, they would rather die with their memories intact rather than lose the Dark Hour.
They died as they lived with unclear motivation.
We literally
So
like look
accurate.
over the edge and we're like, weird, but okay, let's go fight a shadow. We kick the shadow's ass and then nothing happens. We're like, weird that nothing is happening, but we did the thing. So obviously we won. Let's go celebrate tomorrow. So tomorrow comes and Pharos visits us in the daytime. He says, hey, this is the first time I'm seeing you in the daytime, but this is also the last time I'll ever see you again. But our bond of friendship is unbreakable, so whatever happens, I'll always be your friend. And we shake his hand and max his social link, and he disappears for the rest of the game. For our victory celebration, we feast on sushi. Like, it's giant platters filled with giant pieces of sushi, and it was very mouthwatering despite just being polygons. I want some.
I was reminded of this the other day. Do y'all remember how in like the 90s and early aughts, every single TV show had an episode about how freaky sushi is?
No, I don't remember that.
Every sitcom, there was an episode where the characters are like, one character is trying to get other characters to have sushi, and they're like, "Whoa, this is so gross!" And it's, God,
honestly,
it was such a common cultural thing, and it's so weird looking back on it.
As someone who watched a fair few sitcoms from that era, I don't remember what you're saying, but I truly could not be surprised. It sounds like the kind of thing sitcoms, like, I can imagine Friends mining that for some easy content, basically.
Anyways, so as we're feasting on sushi, we notice that Ikutsuki and Aigis aren't there. He's apparently given Aigis some sort of a tune-up, and he'll meet up with us later. Daddy Kirijo arrives to celebrate with us since the ordeal is finally done. He says that at midnight, Seas will officially be disbanded, and we can triumphantly return to having a normal life. The party rages on late into the evening, and Aigis and Ikutsuki still aren't there. In fact, it's almost midnight. And as the clock strikes 12, the normies in the room turn into coffins, and the moonlight turns green. Fuck. The Dark Hour, she ain't dead yet. And for some reason, a bell is tolling at Tartarus. Mitsuru is like, obviously, something is up. Everybody suit up. We're going to Tartarus. When we get there, Ikutsuki and Aigis are waiting for us. Mitsuru is like, hey, motherfucker, you knew that killing these shadows wouldn't start the Dark Hour, didn't you? And he's like, that's a bingo. He says that killing the 12 shadows, we weren't killing the giant shadow from before, but we were reunifying it, killing the pieces, send its shadowy essence back together. So now Death the Almighty can come down and destroy everything. It will be the end of everything, but also the beginning of a new world. 10 years ago, after Granddaddy Kirijo-san went cuckoo bananas, he amassed the huge number of shadows to make the big shadow, not because he was trying to invent time travel like we thought, but because he wanted to bring down death and wipe out humanity. Very normal things. A old prophecy says that the fall will be brought about by a prince who will rule over the new world as a king. And since Grandpappy failed, it's now Ikutsuki's time to shine. Ikutsuki says if we play our cards right, he'll let us join him in salvation. Yukari asks if her dad's video was real, and Ikutsuki's like, of course it was real. I just cut all of the knots out of his thou shalt not kill all the shadows. It's no big deal. So Mitsuru is like, you're insane, and we're going to kill you. He's like, too bad. Aigis capture them and prepare them for a sacrifice. Aigis kicks our ass and captures us, and then fucking crucifies us on crosses on the roof of the observatory next to Tartarus.
I mean, at least she does so with, like, just, like, binding our hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I guess, a small comfort.
But unlike in, say, Xenogears, they do not crucify the cute mascot character, and that comes back to bite them.
Mm-hmm. When we come to, Aigis has Daddy Kirijo at gunpoint or finger point, and Ikutsuki says that he's going to sacrifice Seas to bring upon the fall. First on the chopping block is Daddy Kirijo, and Ikutsuki demands that Aigis kill him, but she can't take the shot. Ikutsuki says in a Thanos voice, I'll do it myself, and pulls out a gun and trains it on Kirijo. But then Kirijo ducks out of the way, pulls out his own gun, and shoots Ikutsuki right as Ikutsuki fires. Both of their aims are true, But Kirijo goes completely down, and Ikutsuki just holds his side in pain. He tells Aigis to shoot the sacrifices, but she remembers the power of friendship and instead shoots the chains that are holding us to our crosses, and we jump down to kick some Ikutsuki butt. Ikutsuki is like, stupid robot, and he grabs the remote to tell her to do something, but because he didn't crucify the dog, Koromaru jumps in, takes the remote out of his hands, and crushes it in his jaws, because he's a good boy.
And that's why if you're going to crucify a group of your enemies, and one of them is a hyper-intelligent dog, don't neglect to crucify the hyper-intelligent dog.
Yeah, or lock him up or do something. Don't just be like, oh yeah, that's probably fine.
Put him in his crate.
Right? So Ikutsuki isn't doing so hot. He vomits up blood and says that he was this close to being the chosen one to rule over the new world, and starts laughing and saying some crazy shit as he stumbles backwards and falls off the roof to his death. Mitsuru runs to her dad's side, but she is too late. He's already gone. He always said that he would atone for the mistakes of his generation, even if it cost him his life, but Mitsuru didn't want it to happen, and she was always trying to find a way to save him, and she failed. Unsure of what else to say, the party heads back to the dorm. The next day, we all meet to talk about the changes that are going on. So Ikutsuki's room has been completely cleared out, and Aigis has been taken away. Mitsuru has a lot of stuff to do now that she's suddenly the head of a multinational conglomerate, and so she has a lot of stuff to attend to for a week or so, and we kind of don't know what to do. We don't know how to stop the Dark Hour, but we know that Tartarus still be Tartarusin, so we gotta keep fighting, and hopefully we'll figure something out. Fuka tells Yukari that she was able to recover a video from Ikutsuki's computer, and she thinks that Yukari would want to see it. It's the original version of her dad's video, where her dad is warning people to stay away, and is apologizing that, like, the shadows are going to be shitty from now on, but we shouldn't kill any of the big 12 of them, because that will destroy the world. The video then concludes with a special part just for Yukari, which doesn't contradict anything that fucking Ikutsuki wanted it to be. He's just an asshole and didn't want to put Yukari's dad's last words in the fucking video for her. He's uncalled for, actually.
How dare this genocidal asshole?
Right?
Also be mean to good girl.
Yes. So the final part tells Yukari that he's apologizes that he can't come home, tells her how much she loves her and how she's the reason for his life. She's the inspiration. Yes. She cries and says that she was right to always believe in her dad. And he wasn't the cause of everything. He was the hero who stopped the end of the world. As she fondly remembers her dad, her persona digivolves. That night, while Totino's is dreaming, Igor takes us to the Velvet Room. He reminds us that our contract specifically states, I make this choice of my own free will. And so we promised that we would make a choice, and that he'll stand by whichever one we decide to make, no matter what kind of future it brings. And we will find out what kind of future that is next week.
Start with, I really hate the Hangman boss, mostly because I have a specific body horror issue when it comes to hooks through flesh.
Yeah, it's gross.
Also, just mechanically, not the most fun fight. Not terrible, but...
Because I didn't finish in time, because Bernard was ready early, so instead of having time to finish, I put on cheat codes. Because there's a mod for the computer version of Persona you can get that gives you cheat codes. And I put in insta-kill. And all of the bosses of this week were scripted. So the insta-kill didn't actually help. And I still had to go through like 12 turns for each one. But I didn't have to engage with the mechanics. So I don't remember how this boss plays because I didn't have to play it.
Just like an annoying thing, like when he's up high, you can't hit him. You have to destroy the statues, each of which is weak to a different physical kind of move,
Mm,
and you take out the little statues and it comes back down. But depending on the timing, it might just immediately go back up after you get just one all-out attack on it, and have to repeat the process again. It's just a little annoying,
yeah,
just a little bit.
just a little bit.
It was fun getting to kick those Strega assholes' asses.
Hmm. So I don't have any. We don't have any new social links this time around. I did do a little more in Keisuke, and he still sucks, and I hate him. But the main thing of his thing, because I think I had only just met him last week, is all I had said. But so he is really good in art class, but he also his dad is a doctor, and so he is like torn between, do I want to be an artist or do I want to be a doctor? And
Is he a
he
man or is he a Muppet?
yes, is he a man or is he a Muppet? And he wins a award of some sort, and he had a bet with his dad, if he won the award then he didn't have to be a doctor anymore. And yeah, I still kind of hate him, but we'll see how that all shakes out after
I don't
that.
see how he could elicit a strong enough response to hate him. He's just sort of weird.
Yeah, I don't like hate him in the way that I actively hate other people. I just cannot make myself give a shit about
Yeah,
his
his
social
whole
link.
thing is he's like, I really like being a doctor and giving people unsolicited medical advice, and I would really love to be a doctor, but I love painting so much, and I feel like I'm being pressured by my dad to be a doctor. But then now that my dad has started supporting my artistic endeavors, I feel like he's pressuring me to be an artist, and I don't know what I want. And I'm like, you could be a doctor and have a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
You could just have a hobby. That
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
I also got to hang out with Bebe a lot this week,
Baby is
and
so
I
good.
I
love
I
him.
love him so much. His thing is also daddy issues, but or uncle issues technically.
Yes, uncle issues.
But his idea is not, oh, I'm going to make a bet with my father figure like Keisuke is, but he's like, I'm going to show my dad my uncle how fucking cool Japan is by making him a kimono so he can see that, look, I love Japan so much that I made this kimono, and kimonos are awesome, so you should let me
Well,
stay living in Japan.
you kind
It's
of
so good.
skipped a whole lot of stuff that happens in his social link.
I mean, yeah, his aunt
His,
dies first.
yes, his
And it's
he
really
got to
sad.
come to Japan because his aunt was very supportive of him and helped him get in whatever study abroad transfer student program he's in. And she died recently after he left, and now his uncle is like, hey, you need to come home. And he's like, my uncle doesn't understand me, I'm gonna make a kimono, and then he'll understand me.
Yeah. And normally, when people have stupid ideas in social links, I feel bad being like, oh, I'm going to choose the one that you want me to hear, and I'm going to tell you things. But no, absolutely, baby. Make this kimono. It's going to work. I believe in
Do
you.
it.
um
Do it.
so in the original version, the scene where he talks about how his aunt died doesn't hit because it's just like using it's using, I don't know the names of the tracks, but there's a track that's like the something mysterious and sketchy is happening music,
Mhm.
and they use that track, and it's not an emotional scene there. But in Reload, not only does it have excellent voice acting, Baby's voice actor is amazing and really sells it,
It's
even though he's
so
doing this
good.
goofy
Very good.
accent. They also use a different music track, which is a really emotional one, and
Mhm.
the scene works now.
Yeah. It's very good.
Use the
Both
music
music.
that takes the scene seriously.
Yes. Uh Also, I so a couple things. One, I was very surprised and happy to find out that the mod has actually, when it gets to the point where they take the group picture where everyone's there, uh they have edited it, redrawn it, whatever, so that with my mod that I have, so it's Katone instead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like a really simple, like her pose is different, her expression is different. It's really cute. Also, just with that scene and what happens afterwards. So I'll say, having not played the original game, it was really obvious the chairman was going to be evil.
Oh yeah,
Really obvious that May is putting it a little too strongly. I wasn't surprised. He had bad vibes.
yeah.
But you know who else had bad vibes? Mitsuru's dad. But it turned out this dude is actually really cool.
He's really
Yeah.
good.
For a billionaire, he's not bad.
Yeah, he kind of.
He's trying to make things right.
Yeah. Every single time you're like, I don't know. Turns out, nope, he's on the up and up.
Yeah.
And he died without ending up being bad. So,
Mhm. And even the like one blemish on his life of the like running tests on Mitsuru so that he could go and create Strega, like he's still trying, and Mitsuru like wasn't like against it or whatever. It's like shitty from the outside in, but Mitsuru wanted to help too, so it's not even all the way bad.
Yeah.
But don't run tests on 9-year-olds, in case you're wondering. Don't do that.
Agreed. I wanted to just, in regards to the whole crucifying and all the stuff that happens there, so on the one hand, I'm of two minds about the entire thing. On the one hand, you were completely correct in your summary. The chairman is just saying a lot of bullshit. Like, and maybe a lot of this isn't bullshit. Maybe it'll make more sense once I know more of what's really happening behind the dark hour and stuff. Maybe there is, knowledge that will help with this later. But for now, it sounds like a bunch of dumb bullshit that gets pulled out of nowhere. But if I don't look at it as literal things that are happening, if I put on my English degree glasses, I could be like, oh, okay, this is tying into the game's larger theme about like, is life worth living? Even when things get tough, should you keep persevering and pushing through? Because this dude's chairman, it seems like the chairman's whole thing is just like, no, actually, it would be better if everyone was dead, and I'm giving them that gift and becoming God.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, dude. That's a horrible outlook on life, but, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, back in the pre-Persona 1 times for Shin Megami Tensei If, it was called Shin Megami Tensei If because what if they somehow stopped the apocalypse that happens in Shin Megami Tensei 2? And so you are in a high school, and then at the end you stop the apocalypse from happening.
Yeah.
I wonder if like that's the vibe for all of these, because like a very similar like, oh yeah, the apocalypse is about to happen sort of vibes happen at the end of Persona 5 as well. I don't know if they happen at the end of Persona 4.
In Persona 2, we actively averted the apocalypse there.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's been a thing the whole time, and I'm only just now realizing it after having played multiple
I
of
don't
these
think
games.
you need to read too deeply into things escalate to where you need to save the world in a JRPG.
Yeah.
True.
But I just wonder if it's if there are other ties to other Shin Megami Tensei games, like in vague strokes or anything.
Again, as someone like who my first game really playing it on the podcast was 2. And going from that 2-3 and seeing the clear evolution into, the having seen bits and pieces of a Persona throughout my life before this, just through pop culture osmosis, and being like, oh, this is the game where they did the calendar thing. This is the game where they added social links. This is, like, it was a big shift, but also between Reload and much more the portable version, which I'm playing on the side, also seeing the bits where the earlier Persona stuff is still sort of there, like how fusion worked in the original ones. I'm so glad Reload cleaned it up so much. Yeah. I don't want to pick 4 random Persona combinations and try to figure out how to get a good thing. But like, see, like this is like a really interesting pivot point, I guess, for the franchise, where it is solidly starting to define what it will be going forward, and at the same time it still has elements that are going to be abandoned going forward. Um, I sure hope. I sure hope this isn't the second Persona game I've played in a row, or third, I guess, if you count both Persona 2 games. I really hope that this isn't going to end with everyone getting amnesia about the plot of the game. Um, that would suck. I would be really sad if that happened a third time in a row.
I will say nothing.
I,
uh, yeah, and me saying nothing is because it's a complicated answer, and it'll be cool to see your response. It is not necessarily me giving it away.
yeah, no.
It is not a, it is not a
see.
no comment that actually means yes. It is a no
Yeah.
comment because I'm interested to see how you take the rest of the game.
Thanks. I'm excited to see it too. I'm really curious what the hell's going to happen from here, because the game, I'll give it. I have to give it this. It has set up a really like the game was really pushing for this was the main plot, and now that's kind of solved, and so now it's a what's next, guys?
Yeah.
And that's a really fun energy, and I look forward to seeing what it's gonna do next. And in general, just I'm really excited to get to play Reload again, because I haven't played it for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and I miss it.
Yeah,
I
'cause
miss it a lot.
I think you got to 11.5 by
I
accident
did.
the last time we recorded. So,
Yes, yeah, which was, I believe, 3 weeks ago.
yeah. But yeah, the only like specific mem that I had written out is one of the times, because like every time the evening starts and you can do evening things, one of your party members will be like, "Hey, what's up?" as you walk in, and sometimes it say a little
Yes.
more than that. Oftentimes it's literally just Junpei saying, "Hey, what's up?" But one time Junpei says, "Hey, you want to head to Old Tartar tonight?" Which
I
is,
remember that.
it's so bad. You don't say that, Junpei. You can't make fetch happen. That's so bad. I love it. But yeah, that was my only specific line that I had called out. Did you have any more screenshots you wanted to share, Trish?
No, I think I'm good. I've exhausted what I have for what I remember playing and the images I saved. Just Fuka and her girlfriend are long distance now, and I'm sure they'll be great. I think they'll work out fine. Oh, no, I talked about that last time. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about my dumb confusion with how dating works in this game a second time.
Yes.
I have dumb confusion with how dating works in real life.
I mean, same. My strategy is to skip dating and to just fall in love with your friends.
Yeah. See, the thing with being a U-Haul lesbian is you get to just skip all of that part. You can just
Yes.
point and be like, we are married, move in tomorrow, and it happens. You could just skip all of the other parts.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I did move across the country for someone I've been dating for like 2 years.
Yeah. See? It makes sense.
Okay, so I have been trying to figure out what you were thinking of with someone named Natsuko, because it appears to be a not common name. There's very few results for it, but I just found that there's apparently a Pretty Cure character named Natsuko, so that's probably what you were thinking.
That is probably what you were thinking.
Probably 100% absolutely what it is. Yeah. Now I wonder which Pretty Cure that is. But that's not important.
Toriwa Pretty Cure.
That's like OG. Dope. Anywho, if you like what you heard this week, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club and toss us some cash to help us cover the cost of running the show. If you sign up for a monthly contribution, you also get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, you'll be on the Gadabout tier, which gets you access to our bonus feed, where this week, like we mentioned before, we continued playing through Star Ocean 2, and on the main plot, nothing happens, and in the side quests, we don't kill a dragon. But next week, I think we're going to try and do the next Kiseki episode. So if you've been tuning into Kiseki, it's happening. It's on and popping. You'll also get access to our polls to choose what game we play next. Currently, there's a poll active between Radiata Stories and Legend of Legaia. I don't know why I forgot that one. I have to talk about it every single fucking week. And so if you want to head on over and you could vote there. Currently, Legend of Legaia has a sizable lead. So if you want Matt to be happy and you want Vimk to be unhappy, you can go vote for Radiata Stories so we can kick a lot of things, because that's the coolest thing that's mentioned on his Wikipedia page, is that you can kick everything. If you up your donations to $5 a month, that's the Warrior tier, and you get all of the above, but we also read out your name, like shoutouts to It's Claire Time, Frost Terror, Dragon Slayer 19, Florist, Kildron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then at $20, you'll be a luminary, and you also can make me shout out something each week. So shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shouts to Vimk, who wants you to play Legend of Legaia and wants you to force us to play Legend of Legaia by voting for it in the polls. But Vimk has had it too good for too long, and you should vote for Radiata Stories instead. And then shoutouts to Carr, who is a dentist, so he isn't plugging a website, but rather your own mouth, and he says to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.
Sam, is there anything you can do about your internet connection, do you think? Because literally getting about 65% of what you say. It shows up in the backup recording, so it's fine, but it's hard to, bounce off what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a...
Unfortunately, no. I hate it here, and I want them all to die. I am hard plugged into the internet, and that's basically the best that I can do here. I don't have access to my own router. I don't have access to my to any switches or anything. All I could do is hope for the best, and there's not a lot of best that I can do.
Okay. Is it possible your computer is hard plugged in, but it's still using Wi-Fi because it's dumb?
No, it's my gaming computer. It doesn't have a Wi-Fi card.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had computers do that, so I want
me too.
Because computers are bad.
Yeah. What I might do next time is have my computer have the backup recording going, recording on my computer, and then I call you guys from my phone with headphones in, so that y'all can record off of me, and then we just know to use my quote-unquote backup recording as my main recording if it continues to be shitty. So y'all can at least hear me and then have a good recording to use.
I mean, last night when we recorded Star Ocean, you weren't cutting out much, but this time it was just like, well, I hope you're not saying anything stupid so that I could riff on.
I probably was.
Not that you're not saying anything wrong that I could loudly correct.